Hi, I'm Lauren and I'm here with Steve and Charlotte from Other Oils who have just driven up to COP26 from Cornwall in a biodiesel van. So guys, can you tell us about biodiesel and how was the journey?
Go on, Steve.
It was great. It's a long way from Cornwall, that's for sure. But we were very glad to get our hands on the product that we've been talking about for so long and to find out that it works perfectly. Obviously, as a diesel replacement. I mean, we knew it was good because it's being used in Finland and Scandinavia, and it has been for years. We just haven't really got it in the UK yet. It's called HVO. Stands for hydro-treated vegetable oil. And so this HVO is a product that, so it's not really in the UK, but we've managed to get hold of some. A very small amount, but we put it in our tank from some jerry cans, and we drove up here just using HVO, so it was very exciting to be able to do that.
Amazing.
It's quite easy to forget as well that that is something different, isn't it? Like every now and again I get a bit excited that it's way better.
Yeah, because it's 100% fossil free, and it's 100% waste, which the company has kind of siphoned off and put under a chemical process to make it. It's the same chemical frame sort of structure as fossil diesel, so that means it can just be used as a drop-in replacement. So it's not just in our vans, it can be in boats and generators, and it can also be used for home heating. So it's a kind of an amazing magic fuel that hopefully will be a big part of the future. And we've just seen, as we entered the building, Jake flagged up that they've used HVO to run their generators here at COP26 here in Glasgow. So obviously it's a fuel that's very much kind of at the forefront of change, and to see guys like this use it, really makes us think we're kind of onto something, and hopefully we can be at the front of a kind of, a big shift towards using it.
Amazing. So what is your opinion on the take on, how COP26, I feel like there's a massive push for electric vehicles, and especially in the, the transition to net zero, everyone's kind of talking about electric cars, electric vehicles. So why isn't biodiesel really being brought into the discussion?
Well, I don't really know why it's not being put into the discussion, but I think that it's just important to have lots of options for greener transportation. So electric vehicles are great in some ways, but then there's sort of downfalls as well. And I think that our HVO fuel is a drop-in replacement, so people won't be having to buy new vehicles and have lots of problems with the electric charging ports, or just not being able to afford a new vehicle. So it's definitely something that will be better for the communities if they can have multiple options.
And you mentioned at the beginning about managed to get the biodiesel fuels. So can you tell us about the accessibility of biodiesel?
Well, at the moment I think you can only buy about 23,000 litres if you want to get your hands on some.
Because that's the size of a full tanker, and fuel companies don't really like to ship around small amounts. So it's a full tanker, one of those big kind of, so that's 23,000 litres. So of course if you buy that, even if you needed it and had the money, you'd have to store it somewhere. So you have to buy the tank to put the fuel in, and then that tank has to sit somewhere with obviously good accessibility and all the rest of it. So to set up like your own mini fuel station is tricky business.
We want to be that infrastructure basically to provide a fueling point for people like us.
Because me and Charlotte have both got a diesel vans, and we wanted to run them on something else. It's not like fair enough, and there just isn't anything apart from this HVO really, and we can't get any. So if you're just like a little Joe, you can't get it. So we thought we'd try and set up a company to start small and set up some little community tanks, little 5,000 litre tanks maybe, which people like us could just rock up and use. So, and for different kind of community organisations. So accessibility is bad, and we want to make it better. I guess that's the bottom line.
And have you got any plans in the near future of setting up any of these points?
Well, it's been a long old road trying to set up Other Oils, but we're a community interest company, and sort of hopefully in the near future we'll have some kind of our first community tank.
Right. Yeah. Hopefully. Reckon so. Hopefully, and off the back of this, I think, and knowing people like COP26 are going to use it, it obviously means more fuel companies are going to start to deal with it. So it
and
might
it's just be a bit more trusted within.
Right. Good point. Yeah. It's used, and so people are going to be like, yeah, all right, I heard that so and so. I mean, just driving up here, it means that we can say, yeah, the van drove, up and down.
The brilliant case study, right?
Yeah.
And we haven't even mentioned it yet, but the point is, right, it's 100% fossil free, but it's also 90% less CO2. So 90% less CO2 than the journey that we would have made, you know? So like, that's obviously freaking huge. And it means I don't have to scrap my van and I don't have to buy a new electric vehicle. And, you know, so it's a game changer, but it's close to
It
being
sounds like a game
right?
changer to me. It also sounds like a no-brainer, to be
Well, let's
honest.
hope so, yeah. And just for your viewers to be particular, because I think the whole game changer thing, it's not a biodiesel. And so we all use the phrase biodiesel because that is a good way to understand it. And it is made of 100% sort of biomass. So there are obviously overlaps, but the point is it's gone through a kind of chemical sort of treatment that biodiesel hasn't. So there are a couple of negative things about biodiesel: temperature issues, and also eventually it'll clog up your engines. You know, there's filter problems, and you have to make a few sort of mechanical modifications. With HPO, there's none of that. It's just magic, and so you don't have any temperature issues. You don't have to do anything to your engine. You can literally just bung it in. And the other thing you can do is mix it. So on the way back, if we run out of the HVO we've got, we can put in fossil diesel, and it will be fine. It doesn't. You don't have to like only then use it.
Yeah.
You can mix it at any ratio you want. So I think that's the game changer.
Also, lots of biodiesels, lots of first generation crops. So lots of land use was being taken up and growing crops to make this biodiesel. But this is all waste.
So it's kind of runoff
issues
from
either.
big industrial processes that were happening anyway. So yeah, it's not generating any new kind of material or industry. It's kind of a byproduct from industries that are already happening. I mean, 100% waste. It's just unreal.
It's brilliant. And have you found the discussion to be quite positive here at COP about, you know, you guys bringing your story up and trying to engage with different people? How's that been?
People that we've talked
Yeah.
to have been
Pretty
very
interesting.
positive. And
I think
interested.
we got branding on our van for the first time just before we came up. So it just says a few things on the side of the van, and it started a few conversations. People are like,
even in car
what's that
parks
then?
when we
Like pulled up alongside someone and just start, and that's brilliant because we thought we might start doing a little film of all the reactions we get because people are like,
What's that then?
yeah,
Tell me
just
more.
like, yeah, tell me more. And just then being like, no way, really?
Yeah.
You know, like, or just like, wow, that's cool, and just lots of positive sounds. Yeah, it seems to be a pretty magic thing to be involved in, I think.
Absolutely
I've
brilliant.
talked to lots of interesting people about their
Yeah.
own projects as well, which has been really
Yes, that was kind of one.
Inspiring.
Yeah, that was one of the missions on the way up. We'd call into different people, not in that are doing fuels, but like regenerative farming or kind of like gender equality within climate movement. You know, different groups, just to kind of just looking at things in a different way. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, it's all, you know, you talked about the discussions, the conversations. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
You know, connecting with like-minded people and collaborating and figuring out new parts of the space. It's really insightful. So, yeah, how can people find out more about other fuels and also support your journey?
Right. Well, we're on Instagram is kind of where we live because we're both kind of artists, as it were. So we don't like Twitter and Facebook, and so Instagram other.oils is our handle on Instagram, and that's kind of where we put most of our stuff. And you know,
We'll be sort of putting up more on our journey soon as well.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for speaking to us today,
Thanks very
guys.
much.
Yeah,
Cheers.
learned a lot. Thank you.
good stuff. See ya.